Welcome to Hatman Strats Back Daily Boxing News. Johnny Fisher versus Dave Allen on the Usyk Fury 2 Undercard. I'm going to keep this short and sweet. Both fighters have talked about a sparring session they had back in the days, where Dave Allen beat Johnny Fisher up. Fisher himself admits that, but that was the first time he'd ever sparred a pro. Bear in mind, Johnny Fisher only had a handful of amateur fights. Nevertheless, Dave Allen feels insulted by the fact that Johnny Fisher is the favorite going into their professional fight. Allen has lost 6 times in the past, but with the exception of the Leroy Thomas defeat, the other 5 were all to people who had extensive amateur backgrounds. And Allen feels like people are overlooking that going into the Fisher fight. He thinks he's going to have far too much experience for Johnny Fisher. It'll just be too tough, too wily. It'll take him into deep waters and drown him. Well, here's why I think this will be defeat number 7 for Dave Allen. When you boil it all down, boxing is a sport where if your opponent hits you more often than you hit him in the majority of rounds, then you lose the fight, unless you can pull out some knockout punch against the run of play. And while Dave Allen does have the experience and he's tough, we know that, never been down, for me, he just doesn't let his hands go enough. He tends to get hit an awful lot and he just doesn't let his hands go enough to make up for it. That was the case in the Dylan White fight back in the days, in the Luis Ortiz fight, in the first Leroy Thomas fight, certainly in the David Price fight, and most recently against Fraser Clark. And in fact, even in the Nick Webb fight, which he won by 4th round knockout, he wasn't letting his hands go for the first 3 rounds of that either. I know he says he was biding his time and Webb's punches weren't hurting him and he was just setting him up for the knockout, but you can't say that for his 6 defeats. Personally, I don't think Johnny Fisher has a particularly high ceiling. That's just my opinion. But I think he's active enough, energetic enough, and mobile enough to outwork Dave Allen over the distance. I'm not sure whether this fight is going to be scheduled for 8 or 10 rounds. It doesn't yet say on BoxRec. If it's 8 rounds, forget about it. Johnny Fisher's going to win that one on points, I think, quite handily. If it's 10 rounds, it gives Allen a better chance. 12 rounds even more so. As I say, Dave Allen is low volume a lot of the time, doesn't throw enough punches and gets hit a lot. And his offense is usually very crude. It consists mainly of a looping overhand right, doesn't jab that much. There's a few left hooks here and there, the odd left hook to the body. I think he took Lucas Brown out with a body shot, right? Was it a left hook to the body he took him out with? Either way, he's not particularly prolific with that shot. And as I say, I just think Johnny Fisher's going to have the youth to be able to move around, jab, throw the odd shot here or there, and evade Dave Allen's crude attacks. That's the way I see it. I don't think he'll knock Dave Allen out. Is it possible he'll get a stoppage with Dave Allen on his feet or maybe retiring on his stool again because he's done that a couple of times in the past? Maybe, but my money would be on a Johnny Fisher points win. Fisher hits hard and he's got pretty quick hands when he throws in combination, but I don't think he's the sneakiest fighter in the world. So I reckon Dave Allen will probably be able to read a lot of Johnny Fisher's attacks. The key to beating Johnny Fisher, I think, is to counter him or to punch with him. Now, in order to counter him, you got to be quick enough to do so, and Dave Allen is not that. In order to punch with him, you're going to need good timing and a good chin because he's going to catch you in those exchanges. Dave Allen's definitely got a good chin, but I don't think his timing is that great. So yeah, long story short, I got Johnny Fisher winning this fight on points. Would it be a shock if Dave Allen managed to beat him? No, because again, I don't really think Johnny Fisher has got a particularly high ceiling, but I think he'll have enough to get past Dave Allen here. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Are you sick and tired of the mainstream mindset? Does the dogmatic conformity and pathological ignorance have you tearing your hair out in frustration? Then don't be alone. Come and join our brotherhood on Patreon. We stand as a beacon of reason against an army of insanity. You'll gain access to my weekly topical podcast where we take more deep dives than Jacques Cousteau on an endless variety of subjects. There's also videos, interviews, live Q&As, as well as a vast back catalogue of previous episodes, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen via the Patreon app or download in high-quality MP3. Connect with myself and hundreds of other members in our Element chat group. There's no contract, no commitment, you can cancel at any time, and it's cheaper than a Mickey D's McMuffin. Just head to my Patreon page via the link below this video and select the tier called the Brotherhood of Reason. I'll see you over there.